The holiday season is fast approaching, and with the surge in COVID-19 cases in Utah and with trends expected to get worse, now is the time to find new and creative ways to celebrate the holidays safely. Please continue to follow the guidelines set in place to help keep our overall community safe and healthy. On this week's episode of Capital City News, we hear from Michelle Hoon with the city's Homeless Engagement Response Team about a new community commitment program. And our History Minute is about the Black Hawk War, a bloody chapter in Utah's history. Let's get started with our legislative update and look back.
At its November 10th meeting, the City Council, acting as the redevelopment agency, discussed potential revisions to their property disposition policy and received a variety of briefings about loans, designs, and maintenance funding strategies. As the council, they also received updates on projects ranging from racial equity in policing and COVID-19 to people experiencing homelessness and the Community Commitment Program. They also heard from almost 70 members of the public across 7 public hearing items. To learn more, visit slc.gov/council. COVID-19 cases continue to skyrocket, and more people in Utah have it now than ever. With Salt Lake County in an area that has a documented high rate of transmission, it's important to follow the current state mandates. First, if you leave your house, you should be wearing a mask, which scientists have deemed safe and effective in this situation. Second, you should not be having any social gatherings with people outside of your household, with very few exceptions. Only with your help to limit exposure to others and wear masks whenever you're out of the house can we bring the case numbers down. For more information about the statewide orders, visit coronavirus.utah.gov.
With colder months comes the flu season. Although COVID-19 and the flu may share similar characteristics, it's important to distinguish the differences. There is a vaccine to protect against the flu and no corresponding vaccine for COVID-19. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, COVID-19 spreads more easily and can cause more serious illnesses. Help reduce the spread of COVID-19. If you are feeling sick, have symptoms, belong to a high-risk population, or have been exposed to somebody with COVID-19, get tested as soon as possible and be sure to follow quarantine guidelines. To find a testing location nearest you, call 1-800-456-7707 or visit coronavirus.utah.gov.
In the early 1980s, Salt Lake City was water park central for the Intermountain West. The Wild Wave was home to the world's 3rd wave pool and the place to be in the summertime. Fast forward almost 40 years to 2020, and the 17-acre Glendale Park, which has changed names to Raging Waters and later Seven Peaks, is in a state of serious disrepair. Closed since 2018, the pools leak, much of the equipment is broken and unsafe or no longer meets engineering codes. Vandalism and operator abandonment have created additional problems, such as fires, stripped electrical wiring, and equipment theft. The park's condition leaves Salt Lake City wrestling with the difficult question of what to do next. Estimates from water park experts have placed the costs of repairing and restoring the park to meet current standards at well over $20 million. The recommendation of city staff is to disassemble what remains and make way for something new, with a cost projected to be between $500,000 and $600,000. Before taking any action, we want to hear from you. City parks are your parks, so your thoughts and ideas matter. To learn more and stay connected on this project and sign up for email updates, visit our website.
The city's Community Commitment Program connects those in our community experiencing homelessness with resources this winter. Michelle Hoon, Policy and Project Manager for Salt Lake City's Homeless Engagement Response Team, shares details.
What our team does is focuses primarily currently on trying to resolve unsheltered encampments throughout the city. What we've devised in order to do this, along with the mayor's office, is called the Community Commitment Program. The Community Commitment Program is focused on trying to identify a service-based approach to getting people off of the streets and into shelter or into housing.
What does that look like? I know sometimes a lot of that work can be invisible to the community. How long do these interventions sort of take, and like how much effort is the city actually putting into these?
What our team does is we get together with a whole lot of service providers, people who administer programs for shelter or treatment or housing, things like that. And we bring those folks together and we develop an outreach effort. And this is sort of that invisible thing that you were talking about. Really kind of trying to coordinate outreach efforts to make sure that we get to know who is in an encampment, what their service preferences are, and what their needs are, and what kind of programs they might be eligible for. And then really working with our outreach partners to try to hook everybody up who is in that encampment with the kind of service that is really going to end their homelessness.
Walk me through where the city's going to be deploying this sort of thing. I mean, we've seen some of this happen at Toffer Park. Where else would the city be seeing this sort of stuff happening?
The effort that we did in Topher Park, that was about a 3-week effort, about 3 weeks of outreach and then a resource fair at the end of that. This is a fairly time and resource intensive thing to do. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to focus on locating other large encampments throughout the city that need this kind of a response. Currently, we are doing this in the 500 West area, and then we'll reevaluate from there, figure out what lessons we've learned from these first 2 projects, and then we'll figure out where to go from there.
Those experiencing homelessness and more traditionally homed residents of the city are both residents of the city. How do we balance the needs of both of them there?
One thing that the community commitment program did that I think is really beneficial is provided us with some funding to create a mobile clean team. There has been a clean team that has been available in the 5th West area for a number of years. And what that does is it sends a cleaning contractor out to pick up things like trash and bio waste and the kind of stuff that is really concerning when a homeless encampment pops up. This program allowed us to create a mobile version of that. And so as different hotspots come up where we know people are camping, we're able to deploy that team to that area to kind of really just make sure that those negative impacts don't get out of control in that area.
What is the advantage of taking this model versus how we might have previously dealt with people experiencing homelessness in Salt Lake City?
One thing that I think is really great about this is that it is a very service-focused approach. We all understand that people who are experiencing homelessness, they really need resources. They really need to be connected to things that are going to help them come off of the street. There are many ways that can happen, but really trying to get somebody into a service that is going to help them is going to get us the best result and really kind of pull that person off of the street for good.
For residents who might be dealing with people who are experiencing homelessness in their neighborhoods, there might be encampments in their neighborhoods or people squatting on vacant properties, who is the right person to call to get them help?
The best thing for a concerned resident who wants to report a concern regarding homelessness to do would be to use our SLC mobile app. That information from the report on the app comes directly to my team, and my team works with our outreach partners to get them to go out and hook that person up with some services that are going to help them. If there is an immediate health or safety concern that they're noticing, we do request that you call the police for that. But if it's more of just a general concern about homelessness and wanting to see people get resources, the SLC mobile app would be the best place to do that.
For residents who want to learn more about the interventions that Housing and Neighborhood Development is working on as far as people experiencing homelessness, and even if they want to contact you or help out, where do they go for that information?
it would be great for them to check out our website. It's slc.gov/hand. We have plenty of information under the Homeless Services tab on that website that can direct people to further information both about the Community Commitment Program and about other homeless services that are available throughout the city.
Next up is our History Minute.
When the Mormon pioneers arrived into the Salt Lake Valley, they found a place to call home. Unfortunately, the valley had already been settled, and the Utah Territory was home to at least 5 different indigenous tribes: the Ute, Diné or Navajo, Goshute, Paiute, and Shoshone. When the white settlers began to shape the valley to their whims, they took all of the best land to settle, took the best fishing and hunting spots, and diverted water flows that put the Native Americans on the brink of starvation. For 3 years, the white settlers and the natives fought bitterly. Many deaths were suffered on both sides, and it looked like there would be no end to the hostilities. It was only when the Ute chief Black Hawk, nursing an infection from the war, decided that his people stood no chance against the increasing numbers of settlers invading the territory. To that end, he declared peace, and he visited many of the white settlements to apologize for the fighting. He passed away in 1870, but his death did not quite end the war. For 2 years, the Ute tribes still had to raid settlements in order to survive. But then federal troops were called in and cornered the Utes into the Uinta Reservation, trapping them there for good, allowing the white settlers to grab the rest of the land they sought. For the Utes, this meant control by the United States government, and for the white settlers, it meant unlimited expansion without fear of attack that eventually led to the admission of Utah as the 45th state in the Union.
Thanks for staying connected with us on Salt Lake City government news and COVID-19 updates for the city. Take care and stay safe. For SLC TV, I'm Poonam Kumar.